Hello everyone, it's me EJ, and this video will be about everything I learned for my class Psychology of Play. Play is something purposeless. It is something we do because we like to. We are somewhat attracted to do this thing that makes us really happy, and when we do it we lose a sense of time, we forget that it's already evening. One quote we have learned in class was from Steve Cale, and it says, "The opposite of play isn't work. The opposite of play is depression." Now I want you to think of that, because you would always think that the opposite of play is work, but you're wrong, because work can be play as well. Therefore, the opposite of play is depression, because without play we would all be sad, and being sad leads to what? Depression. There are 6 types of play. The first being unoccupied play, the second being solitary, then onlooker, then parallel, then associative, and finally cooperative play. There are 7 patterns of play, this being attunement play, body play and movement, object play, social play, imaginative and pretend play, storytelling, narrative play, transformative, integrative, and creative play. But wait, there's more. There are also types of play personalities. There is the joker, the guy who loves making people laugh, the kinesthetic play, a person who always wants to touch something, those people who always clicking their ball pen, tapping the table, just keeping their hands busy. The explorer, a guy who's very adventurous. The competitor, a person who loves challenges and ranking systems. There's the director, someone who likes making sure everything goes as planned. There's a collector, someone who obviously wants to collect stuff. There's an artist and creator, which is basically someone who loves to draw or who's very skilled in some form of art, in whatever art may be, maybe storytelling. It's not just limited to hand-drawn or digitally drawn material. It can also be from storytelling, whichever art it can be, as long as it's an art. There's also the storyteller. The storyteller is basically a person who loves making up stories. They're kind of similar to the artist and creator, but it's not that in-depth. Another type of play is called adult play, and I won't get too in-depth with this. So, moving on to the second week of our class, we learned about the brain and which part of our brain thinks of emotion, survival. We studied about 3 parts of the brain called the neocortex, the limbic system, and the hindbrain, also called the reptilian brain. So these 3 parts of the brain is also known as the triune brain theory. Basically, it's the 3 parts I just told: the neocortex, the limbic system, and the hindbrain, also known as the reptilian brain. So the neocortex is the front part of our brain, which is the logical thinking side. Moving on to the limbic system, it's more on our emotions and feelings. And lastly, the reptilian brain, also the hindbrain, also known as the hindbrain, is basically like our instinctive brain, wherein we just go fight or flight response. Another subtopic we learned in the second week is about neuroplasticity. It's basically events and experiences that happened in our life that molds our brain. One more good thing we have learned from Psychology of Play is about flow. So what is flow? Flow is basically this state. It's like a sense of it's basically like ecstasy in a sense, because you enjoy what you're doing very, very much, but in the same time you're forgetting your own needs, like eating, sleeping. It is something that benefits us, but we must watch and monitor ourselves to make sure that this doesn't go out of hand. One more equation we learned in our psychology of play was an equation. Basically, it's work hard is equals to success and is equal to happiness. Well, this is untrue because hard work may or may not lead to success depending on what specific thing you are trying to achieve. But surely hard work will not lead to happiness. Okay, I say not because if you work hard on something you do not enjoy, will you be happy? No. But if you work on something you enjoy, even if it's hard work, will you be happy? See, hard work alone cannot bring happiness. You have to enjoy what you're doing for happiness to come into the equation. So now we move on to week 3 of our psychology of play class. So one of the things we learned on 3rd week is gamification. Basically, gamification is turning boring stuff into fun stuff. The second thing we learned from the 3rd week of psychology of play is about fun theory. Basically, fun theory is making fun ways for us to change our behavior for the better.